top level cricket returning to Sharjah after 4 years, and
Yes.
Sharjah comes back to cricket, and how. And it was a great game. We saw her 200 plus score today. 33 sixes being hit, and it's a joint record. In 2018, also same thing happened in Chinnaswamy Stadium, and that speaks a lot
CSK is
about
used to
the
such
game.
milestones, right?
Yeah. CSK is always Daddy's Army is used to such milestones, and someone who would have thought about what Sharjah used to be. And Piyush Chawla and all getting hit, it was such a surprise. And Sanju Samson hitting it all over the park today. So that also brings me to my first hit. As you were talking about Sanju Samson.
Yeah.
What an innings. 19 ball 50, and it was the quickest in his IPL career. And when he reached his 50, 80% of the runs came in boundaries. That was a shocker for me. And
he hit only 1-4 and I think 9 sixes.
9 sixes, yeah. That was also surprising. He had a Chris Gayle-esque approach when the ball was coming onto him, using his upper body strength, picking up the length of the ball before it came to him, hitting it all over the park. I remember 2 of his sixes on the offside. Oh my God, they were brilliant.
No, there was one that sailed over extra cover. I think that was against Jadeja. I think that was
maybe too many sixes against Piyush Chawla and Jadeja getting belted.
Yeah, also over long on, long off.
Everywhere.
I think he's covered the entire ground.
I remember a wristy flick also, a flick that just went out of the park.
Yes.
So yeah,
yes.
And you have watched more of him, Ridhan, if talking about Sanju Samson. You have watched him
Sanju,
evolve as a
oh my
cricketer.
God. See, the one thing, one challenging part about covering T20 cricket is when you are covering a game. I mean, today we are all covering the game from India virtually, but it's covering a game means watching the game. So when you're watching a T20 match, you don't get to watch that much because you're constantly writing.
Yep.
Okay, so you're always writing. Whatever little time I got to look here, that's where my TV is, and I see Sanju going all bonkers, and I couldn't return to my keypad again. And I remember a similar thing had happened in one of the IPL matches back in the day, in 2014 or 15, I can't remember.
Okay.
He was playing for Rajasthan Royals, and it was a match against Mumbai Indians. I was covering that game, and it was a very Mumbai Indian centric match report that I was writing, and suddenly he gave me some jitters in between. So from the 11th to the 17th over, I was so confused that how to write this match copy, because Sanju was leaving it till the end. And also, you have seen him in a few Kerala games for Ranji Trophy. Fantastic keeper, fantastic batsman too. But yeah, I mean, yet to bloom in the Indian.
On that, talking about his keeping skills also, he has been there today as well, like 2 catches, 2 stumpings.
Oh, what a catch! What a one-hander that was. I think I tweeted immediately about that because
that reminded me of De Villiers in the deep a few years back. That catch, plucking it out of the air.
His glove seemed like a magnet, and it's like he's just putting his hand, and everything that he's been doing today he's been doing right. And Sanju Samson is definitely my pick too, because of definitely the catches he took, also the 2 stumpings of Rahul Tewatia, who is another hit of mine, because Rahul Tewatia is an unknown commodity, and he's a Haryana player, and he has been in and around in the IPL fringes, playing 3-4 games or 2 games, 3 games per season. But he never really got that big break. So today, being in the starting 11 and choking the Chennai Super Kings middle order, which is a very star-studded middle order. I mean, getting the wicket of Shane Watson, and then he got Sam Curran after he hit 2 sixes, and Sam Curran was looking quite dangerous. I mean, that very moment he picked Sam Curran, and then Ruturaj Gaikwad, who's a miss for me, because you can't really say miss because it's just one game. There's an entire tournament to go, but we were all looking forward to Ruturaj Gaikwad because we've seen him play for India, how good a player he is, and we have seen him play for Maharashtra. And also the fact that
he was much talked about since he was, Raina left. So he was much talked about.
He's also gone through a lot of tough times because he was tested positive for COVID-19, and then he had an extended quarantine, and then he recovered. So today, had he played the knock that he deserves to play, it would have been a great start. But then nevertheless, I'm sure he'll come around. But Sanju Samson, Rahul Tewatia being the hits, and the misses.
Second hit of yours. Who would be the second hit of yours? I know what's coming, but
Jofra Archer, definitely. I would also partly give it to Faf du Plessis because he was phenomenal. I mean, at one point it looked like that Faf could have finished the game.
Yeah.
Jofra Archer because we all have been hearing about Jofra Archer's batting skills as well. In IPL, in previous editions, he's played a couple of knocks here and there, but then nothing that would leave a mark as this. Because and that's also partly a mistake of the bowler Ngidi, because he bowled 2 no balls, and I think 2 of the 6s went off no balls. And at one point, Rajasthan had scored 27 of 2 balls.
Yeah,
Like that,
19.2
right?
overs. First and second
Yeah.
ball, 27 runs. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy. That was crazy to watch. But yeah, so Jofra Archer is not only a gun bowler. I mean, he can also the effort. I mean, like the bat swing with which he moved, and it was so effortless. The long on, long off boundary, he just swung the bat and the ball just went. So Jofra Archer and Rahul Tewatia for me, the hits definitely. And you tell me about your misses. Who do you think apart from Rituraj Gaikwad?
I won't call it a miss, but yeah, I had expected more of Yashasvi today. I was waiting to see him targeting bowlers.
He was looking very confident the way he walked out, you know.
Yeah, and I believe that it was very unlucky on his part, because it was a short ball and Deepak Chahar, starting overs, and he just got an edge and it went up. So yeah,
I'm very upset with the short selection of Yashasvi Jaiswal, because he was bowling short, and you can't attempt that kind of a shot early in the innings. I mean, when you are trying to settle in. But yeah, it's a T20 game again. He was getting impatient.
First time in the IPL, and then he has.
The other day, Prithvi Shaw also got out to a similar shot. I mean, if you have seen that game,
we have seen Pant going out in the same shot in a similar manner. Yeah. But it's just the starting, and he has done brilliantly for. Needless to say, in the Under-19 World Cup, he had an average of 133. So I'm pretty sure that we'll see more.
It's just a matter of settling in, and because facing these bowlers is also not easy. Deepak Chahar is one of the best T20 bowlers, and look at Yashasvi's age also. I mean, he's not been playing for
18, yeah.
But yeah, he's very promising, and perhaps one batsman to look out for, like you've seen how Shubman Gill has matured into the KKR setup. So I'm sure we're going to see a stronger Yashasvi in the next IPL.
Yeah.
And the process starts from this IPL.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that has to happen. It's Kolkata Knight Riders versus Mumbai Indians.
Yes, Korvalorba Jidbo. I am always caught between these two emotions, because both the cities are home to me, as you know. And so I have always been very confused which side to root for, because I have covered most of my IPL in Wankhede Stadium, and I have watched most of my IPL in Eden Gardens when I was a kid, when I was not a journalist. So yeah, it's a very tough call. But when people ask me who do you back, I say that I feel very happy when Mumbai Indians win, because that city has given me my dreams and my profession as a journalist. And but within my heart, there's a nice Bengali joy that comes when KKR wins a game. But it's going to be a tough game for KKR, because Mumbai has been a very strong side over the years, and I think the head-to-head is 19-6.
Yeah, going by the head-to-head, it's completely for the Mumbai Indians.
But then it's like DK was saying today at the press conference, which it was a very different press conference to attend. It was on Zoom.
Okay.
And to tell our viewers, Owen Morgan was in the same press conference, but in a different window, because they were in the same hotel, but Morgan is still quarantining. So his quarantine got over tonight. So he was in his room, and he got a KKR placard as a backdrop. So he said that I got it, from the lobby and things like that. It was fun. So DK was saying that it's a fresh year and everything has a good mix. So you can't rely on past records that much. But look at KKR this season. Look at the fast bowling department.
Yeah. My God. It has everyone.
Pat Cummins, Ferguson,
Mavi, Nagarkoti, everyone. Sandeep Warrior.
Ali Khan, Prasidh Krishna, Andre Russell too.
Yeah.
Andre Russell too. So
yeah.
So you have so many seamers, and then you have spinners in Kuldeep Yadav. You have
Varun Chakravarti.
Varun Chakravarti, and so
Sunil
there
Narine.
are a lot of Sunil Narayan. I mean, we are
Yeah.
forgetting Sunil Narayan. He can bowl on any wicket.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a tough game, and it will be fun to see KKR beat Mumbai because it's not been the case usually.
Yeah.
And also, I think I agree with DK when he said today that it's good that they are playing Mumbai early because usually KKR faces Mumbai at a point in the tournament when those last few matches matter
Yeah,
to get
mid-season.
to the playoffs. Mumbai has always come in front of KKR, as a hindrance, whenever they have to qualify to the playoffs or from the playoffs to the finals. So it's always been Mumbai Indians block somewhere. So if you play that stronger side earlier in the season, so it's better for them.
Mumbai Indians again hasn't been that good in the UAE if you look back at stats. So there's the catch.
Again that stats. But then you are talking about only a few games into 2014 when the tournament.
The side was very different. Yeah, lot of things to consider.
Elections and some of the games were moved out to the UAE. But lot of things have changed since then, and also one important aspect which I gathered from the press conference today that there's been a fresh change of grass, on the wicket. So Warren Morgan and even Brendan McCullum were saying that a lot of people have been asking that you chose Pat Cummins, you broke the bank for Pat Cummins because you thought that he's going to bowl at that seam-friendly wicket at the Eden Gardens, and Eden Gardens has a lot of grass, and even the curator Shujan Mukherjee is very proud of the fact that it's a good track. It's a good track to bowl as well, and not only bat. So Baz was very bang on when he said that there's not been too much cricket played in this part of the world in the past few years, and also due to the pandemic. So there's a fresh tinge of green, which actually can favor the fast bowlers. And if that actually happens, I mean, if the wicket remains as is, then Pat Cummins, Lockie Ferguson, Prasidh Krishna, you can imagine the riot they're going to run.
Yeah, venomous.
But the same goes for Mumbai Indians because they have a Trent Bolt and a Jasprit Bumrah. So it's a. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch the Indian guys. I'm very excited to watch Kamlesh Nagarkoti especially because I've been speaking to him for the past 2 years, and that was only to get an injury update, how far he has recovered, and now to see him in full swing, it will be really good. And I hope he gets the first game. I hope he starts in the 11 and supports guys like Pat Cummins or Lockie Ferguson, whoever KKR plays in the game.